congratulations for continuing in the course and for finishing 3 units so far. You're doing well. Next subject we're going to talk about is loops. It's a big subject in computer programming because loops are very important. Loops are how you repeat a command over and over again, basically, and you keep a command running for a certain time. That's with a loop. Basically, it just means to repeat. Okay, so there's going to be some actions that need to be performed over and over, but we don't want to make a really long code. It's not efficient. So we want to save time and effort. We want to make our code short. So we're going to use loops. All right. So you got to define and code while loops. That's a kind of loop, a while loop. And also variables to control the loop. Okay. So there are some very good videos here about loops. And here are the slides that the teacher goes through. So I recommend you watch all 3 videos. Okay. Now, what does a loop like this do? Well, here first we got an input variable. The number is an integer input, and it's the response to this thing. Enter a number. Okay. And if the user does not enter -1, if num is not equal to -1, then it'll say, well, you entered, and then whatever the number that they entered, and then it will ask again, enter a number, -1 to stop, print done. Okay, again, you can try out that code down here, or you can try this one, which is similar. Okay, enter, so run the code. Okay, enter a name, stop to end. Okay, Sammy. Enter Sammy. You entered Sammy, and then it asked me again, enter a name. Noah. You entered Noah. Enter stop to end. Enter a name, Jessica. No, it keeps going unless I do stop. If I do stop, then it says done. Okay, and then the code's finished running. Okay, so let's look at a DJ's best friend, the while loop. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that we talk about loops in music and loops also in computer programming because the ideas are very similar. And when music is created digitally, they're related or actually the same thing. So we have an example with no loop and an example with a loop. And you see how the example with no loop is much longer than the example with the loop. And the more lines of code you save, the faster your program is going to run, the faster your devices are going to run. Longer code is usually bad code. You want short code if possible. Okay, so we can try this in EarSketch. Okay, so you can always open up your EarSketch. Oops. There's a couple different links here. Ooh, whoops, this is not the right one. No, shoot. Well, they redid their link and they redid their site. So, okay. Now there are some interesting links to visit here as well. So this one is TED Talk. Okay, you can see a TED Talk about why music repeats. why we love repetition in music. That's interesting. And then you can do the practice with the interactive Python site. Okay, so this is the while loop, and this is another trial area. So while the sum is 0, while count is 0, enter integer or negative integer to stop. While the integer value is greater than 0. Okay, so here it is. Enter an integer or a negative integer to stop. 5. Okay, it's going to ask for it again. 10, 3. Okay, a negative integer, negative 4. Okay, now it stops. And not only does it stop, it shows you what you entered down here. And it gives you the sum and the average of the numbers that you entered. Okay, good. Then there's a couple of questions you can answer there. Now let's go to the lesson practice. 3 questions. So what do you use loops for? Consider the following code, try to find what's wrong, and then just to read the text and how to think like a computer scientist, you got to go to this link, and then once you go to the link, you can go back, and that's just the one we already did. You can check it. Okay, so good luck with these 2 questions. I'll let you try that, and then I'll meet you at the code practice.